Hola, my impatience. It is I, Andrew the Android Koloski here, and I hope you impatience will join and start engaging with me. I hope you will come filing in momentarily. I hope you will, be at my beck and call and join right now. I want you guys at my beck and call. When I go live, you're meant to join. You're meant to have no lives. When I go live, you're meant to be at my beck and call. At least Rusty is. Rusty at the very least. I mean, some of you, obviously have lives, but we got Pizza Pasta in the house. He's like, "What's up, big dog?" Oh, 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 oh. Not much. Not much is going on. Pizza Pasta's at my beck and call for sure. Pizza Pasta's at my beck and call. Somebody asks me, what's my favorite Beck album? To be honest with you, I don't even know Beck songs. The only Beck songs I know are Two Turntables and a Microphone and Loser. Those are the only Beck songs I even know. So, Pizza Pastas is fair enough, Andrew. Fair enough. I don't know enough about Beck to make a judgment about Beck. I'll share with you some photographs I took with me mod. Well, I took them by myself with a tripod. What do you think of this photo, Pizza Pasta? That's me in my bathing suit. Yay or nay? Yay or nay? That's the first photograph. He says, "Looking sharp, my guy." And this is the second photograph. This one's not as good. Yay or nay? Yeah, they're water shoes. They're water shoes. I enjoy wearing water shoes. Making a fashion statement with them for sure. Certainly making a fashion statement. Somebody says, protecting your feet in the pool is important. I actually don't wear the water shoes in the pool. I take them off when I go into the pool. But I think you can wear them in the pool. I think you can. All right. I hope Rusty will. Pizza Pastas is in the pool area. I hope Rusty will be at my beck and call here because, quite frankly, you know what? It's that time again. It's that time again for Rusty's favorite part of the day. It's that time again, Rusty. I hope you will join. Where art thou, Rusty? Where art thou? Go into your little song. Go into your little jingle, jingle washing machine. Don't leave me waiting. I'm going to give Rusty some pleasure. But I don't think he's here. I don't think Rusty's here. I don't think my guy is here. All right. La 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 la. Yeah, the what? There we go. Here we go! Putting the wash in the dryer. Putting the wash. Not like an air fryer. When you put the wash. Putting the wash in the dryer. Putting the wash. It's not like an air fryer. When you put the wash. Coming to the live stream at this time, standing 6'6" tall, weighing 273 pounds. Sal Waters, wee wee wah, Wee-wah, wee-wah. You are going down. Ah! Rusty, how was that entrance? 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. Not bad, not bad. I gave Rusty pleasure. I gave Rusty some pleasure. Here he is. My guy is here. Tough crowd. Why do you give it 6 out of... I guess there wasn't enough energy behind it. All right. So, guys, do you think I should try to go to NAMI tonight and get along with my father, or do you think I should just... Somebody says, "How do I feel about R-Truth getting let go?" I think it's bad, you know, obviously, because I mean he's a legend who's been there for 17 years, but he probably has a big contract, and he's well past his prime, and they're probably paying him more than the young talent. That's the reason they're releasing Carlito too. These guys are older, they got bigger contracts, they're getting paid more money, and unfortunately, they're about the bottom line. They'd rather pay a younger talent who they don't have to pay as much, and they want a new young talent. Basically, they're all about increasing profits and increasing the bottom line, and it doesn't really. I mean. And R-Truth isn't exactly a big star like John Cena. He's kind of low card, and they felt he wasn't, worthy of the contract, he had. I mean, yeah, I mean, everybody likes him. He's like a 17-year employee, and, everybody in the industry likes him. But, at the end of the day, it's a business, and it boils down to money, and they felt his contract was too large, I mean, maybe if he wants to come back at a reduced price, they could bring him back with a smaller contract. But ultimately, we got Sauce in the house. How you doing, Sauce? I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is. I think the problem doesn't really have to do with his gimmick. I think the problem has to do with the contract. They're paying him a lot of money because he's established, but he's he's not. They felt he wasn't worth the amount of money they were paying him. It's unfortunate, you would think, after being with the company 17 years, they would look after you. But then again, I mean, that happens at supermarkets too, somebody could be with the company 17 years and they could just get fired. So yeah, it's sad, because everybody's like, "Oh, R-Truth was a legend. He was funny. He was comedic." I mean, it happens at like every job. I mean, he's in entertainment. I mean, he's created memories, and Pizza Pasta says, "Great point, my dude." He's created memories. He's a legend, but that's business in America. That's big business in America. Somebody says, "Andrew, it's their loss. I'm the next hot ticket. I'm going to be a star. They say you're like right out of the Rat Pack. In fact, you could be the Rat Pack King. Thank you, Sauce. I hope to be a superstar. I'm getting old, but I'm still looking good. You know, I'm getting old, but I hope to be a superstar, Sauce. I hope to be a superstar. Maybe I'm waiting for Godot. Maybe I'm waiting for something that's never going to happen. Somebody says, Andrew, get a job at the supermarket. You're not going to be rich and famous. Time is confusing, yes. Time is confusing. Pizza pasta. Chiba says she didn't get a notification for the live. I'm not sure exactly why. That's too bad. That's just simply too bad. Is there a strike on my channel? Maybe there's a strike on my channel. Let's go and check it out. Let's see if I got a strike. Let's go to they want I don't they want to age restrict some of my videos. So he says, what about Ukraine? So he says a Ukraine strike. What about the Ukraine, Rusty? La 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 la. Somebody says, I can see why some of your videos might get age restricted. I think one of the videos, Rusty says, my content is definitely rated R. It's definitely for audiences 18 and older. Definitely rated R. The YouTube content, very, very much rated R. It's very much not for the youth of the nation. We're this is an adult show. This is a show for adults. Frankly, so he says, yeah, maybe you should age restrict. Yeah, just age restrict the videos, especially the really bad ones. So he says, your content is 18 and older. It's rated R. Yeah, fair enough. You're rated R, Andrew. You're rated R. Rated R. So you're like Edge, you're like Adam Copeland. Rated R superstar. I wonder if Edge is related to my psychiatrist, my psychopharmacologist. They spell their last names differently, but maybe they're biologically related. Edge the psychopharmacologist. Prescribing medication. La la la. Should I go to NAMI tonight, guys? Do you think I should try to get along with my dad? I have a feeling it's going to turn into a nightmare and we're going to fight. Somebody's like, yeah, don't go. I mean, he's sick. He's sick with cancer. You're just going to fight with him. You're just going to fight with him. You just can't get along with him, you know? You just can't get along with your father. I mean, I wish him health and happiness. I just can't get along with him. So I'm not trying. I just think, yeah, let's change the topic. I know. I talked to Dr. Copland. He says your parents haven't always done the right thing. They were insufficient parents at times, but try to forgive them. For myself at least. Um, and I just, yeah. So he says, be a good boy, Andrew, and visit your pops. You're going to regret it once he's gone. You think I should go to NAMI tonight? I mean, it's getting out of the house. I'm sitting in solitude. So he says, it's really sad to watch your dad struggle, have just a few good memories with you before he goes, and you're pushing him away. Somebody says, just suck it up and get along with your father. And don't accuse him of shit. Just go, hop in the car, go to NAMI. Frankly, the past 2 days I've sat in solitude. It'd be good to get out and see people. I don't know. I'll think about it. Somebody says, I remind him of. So he says, put on those water shoes and go out splashing, my dude. Put on those water shoes and go out splashing. So he says, drink a jarritos and go. All right, guys. To be honest with you, I'm kind of running out of things to talk about. Anybody got any last questions? I mean, should I hit the old dusty trail? I know Rusty will want me to do an hour here. Rusty's like, do an hour. Do an hour. Do an hour. Somebody asks me, what's my favorite soda? I like vanilla Coke. Vanilla Coke's pretty good. Is that a good pick? If I were to have a soda, I would probably go with vanilla Coke. Rusty says he likes Pepsi with lime. Vanilla Pepsi works too. Do they still make vanilla Pepsi? Let's Google that. Do they still make vanilla Pepsi? Yes, Pepsi Vanilla is still made. It was relaunched in 2019 and is available in some parts of the US. Okay, so Pepsi Vanilla still exists. Rusty says vanilla anything is gross. Yeah, when I was younger, I used to like to put lemon and lime in my my Coke or Pepsi or yeah. Maybe I should go to the supermarket and get a nice Pepsi Vanilla. Why not? I don't drink soda. But then again, I remember I was drinking these San Pellegrino, orange, like sugary drinks. And they were really good. I would get the blood orange flavor and the regular orange. And I would have it every night. And while it was really good, it really packed the pounds on me. And when I gave up the San Pellegrino, my stomach quickly flattened. So that was kind of like a soda. So the soda really packs the pounds on you, unfortunately. Somebody says, for real. So, it's good, but the sugar really gives you a stomach, If you want to flatten your belly, don't have soda. It tastes good. It tastes good. It tastes really delicious, but it definitely packs the pounds on you. Somebody says, metaphorically, drinking soda is like not taking meds. It's unhealthy for you. That's exactly right. Well, at least the soda part. Yeah, drinking soda is unhealthy for you. Rusty asks, have you ever fired a gun, Andrew? No, I've never fired a gun. Not even a paintball gun. Maybe I will someday. I don't know. Have you? I don't know if I'm legally able to fire a gun with my psychiatric history. I think my psychiatric history allows me to not own a gun, but I don't know if I went to a firing range if they'd let me shoot or not. But I know I'm not allowed to own a firearm because I've had like 8 psychiatric hospitalizations. So you feel me? I should protest that. They should make laws that I should own a firearm, but I think they think I'm they if you have a psychiatric history, they somebody says, yeah, you should definitely own a gun, Andrew. That would be really safe. I don't think I would do anything with it. I mean, to be honest with you, let's say hypothetically speaking, I did own a gun. I would just keep it in here for protection. But I have mace in here. Pepper spray. I'm not going to start pepper spraying people. I don't know why a gun's any different. Obviously, a gun's more dangerous, but. Somebody asks, is it a pink pepper spray? It might be my mother's pepper spray. It might be pink. It might be pink, Rusty. When I was going into New York City, I needed my mace. Somebody says, man who warns people how he's a ticking time bomb thinks it would be okay to own a gun. More news at 8. Yeah. Somebody says me owning a gun would be. That's why they don't let psychiatric patients purchase firearms. I don't even want to purchase a firearm, quite frankly. I don't even have any desire to own a weapon, but I mean, I kind of want a sword for a prop. Yeah, I kind of want to buy a big like sword and like swing it around and pretend like I'm in medieval times. But that even that's just a recipe for disaster. Yeah, I want to be like, oh, I'm like walking through the fire with my gigantic sword, and I want to start. I'll probably wind up accidentally hitting myself with the sword and hurting myself. I mean, I don't have nefarious intentions with the sword. It's just a prop to look cool. But I probably wind up accidentally hitting myself with the sword and cutting myself. You know, it'll probably end up in a trip to the hospital. I'm the king of the, you know. Somebody says, I'd love to see you with Sephiroth's sword from Final Fantasy VII. I just go around swinging the sword. Somebody says, I would love to see you practicing martial arts. Yeah, might be good, you know, to learn how to fight. Might be good to learn how to fight. Might be good to learn how to fight. Somebody says, can you show us your right hook? So, like, if I was to punch somebody, that's how I would punch. Like, let's say, you know, I was, you're getting me angry. That's how I would punch. Vicious. That's how I would punch. I don't know how to fight. I'd probably wind up breaking my hand if I did. Somebody says, nobody's getting up from that. Somebody says, Andrew, do you realize you have the punch of a gay man? I don't like that. That's kind of prejudice against homosexuals, but I realize I don't know how to fight. Somebody says, he's just celebrating Pride Month, Rusty. Leave him alone. You want to fuck with me? I know how to fight the drywall. Yes, I've punched a lot of holes in the drywall. That's for sure. Somebody says, your best bet in a fight is to scream, I have HIV. That would make somebody stop attacking you. They don't want HIV because they don't want to make you bleed. Somebody says, how did the party go this weekend with your friends? I had fun. And I asked two of my friends. They said, you know, Mark said, you know, she had fun. And, you know, another friend said he had fun. And the third friend seemed to have fun. So I think it was a good time. You know, they came over. We played some Mad Libs. We got some pizza. We sat around socializing. We walked to a park. You know, it was just a good few hours socializing with friends. And, you know, nothing extraordinary happened. You know, I mean, obviously, you know, like there was no, yeah, but it was just good sitting around socializing. You know, it's really one of the first times. It's actually the most people I've ever had over my house at a given time. I believe, at least, yeah, this house is the most people I've ever had over. Interestingly enough. So yeah, I mean, it was fun. It was fun. I like my friends a lot, and I hope they'll come back. I hope they'll come back, and we could do it again. Interestingly enough, one of my friends, I didn't realize he was taking the train and walking to my house. And I see him walking down the block. I'm like, you walked here? And then on the way home, he walked to the train. My mom's like, you didn't give him a ride to the train? I'm like, oh, I didn't think to. And they're like, it's just common courtesy. Give him a ride to the train. I'm like, oh shoot. He said it was cool and he had a good time. I didn't intend to be mean. I just didn't think to give him a ride to the train, and um, you know, it wasn't intended to be. I just didn't think to. You got to think next time. I don't drive myself to NAMI some of the way, but I usually hop in my father's car, and you know that's part of the reason we fight the hostile dependency. Somebody says drive to NAMI. See, I don't know how to get there on the Parkway. I'd be scared to drive there. Somebody says take an Uber. You really need to get out of the house. You really need to get out of solitude, Andrew. Somebody says throw it into Google Maps. A giant big lighter says you shouldn't be driving at all. So he says just let your dad take you. Well, maybe I'll go to a restaurant for dinner. Maybe I'll go to Miller's Ale House for dinner. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll just go to some restaurant for dinner and get a burger by myself. So he says, get a Zinger Mountain Melt. That's a good idea. Maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll just go to some restaurant and get. I got to eat something, and I think my mother's mad at me, so I got to find something to eat today. So he says, get a 4-pack of Coors while you're at Miller's. I could get some alcohol. I mean, I want to be healthy though. So he says, grab some tall boys. Maybe I'll go to Whole Foods, get some sushi, sugar snappies, and a beer. It's a good idea. No, somebody says, can you blame your mother? She didn't do anything, and you made a video about her No, she was narcissistically baiting me. She knew exactly what she was doing. But whatever, Patrick. I don't want to talk about it. No, she was trying to get me to react. She was trying to get me to react. I mean, you can disagree with me all you want and try to come to my mother's defense, but the reality is my mother was trying to provoke me. The reality is she was doing narcissistic baiting. The reality is she wanted me to throw a tantrum and scream and shout, and which I didn't do. I just stood there silently. The reality is my mother was doing narcissistic baiting. Believe whatever you want to, Patrick. You're wrong. My mother had, nefarious intentions to start a fight with me, uh, and that was what she did. Somebody says you're wrong, Andrew, and you're delusional. I'm not delusional. She knew exactly what she was doing. She was trying to start a fight with me, and I'm not delusional. Let's change the topic. You believe whatever you want to. The truth is, my mother was trying to start a fight with me. She was doing narcissistic baiting. Somebody says, I guess it could be worse. You could be in the hospital. You could be homeless. Somebody says, if it's really that bad at home, move out tonight. I guess it's not so bad, you know? Somebody says, you would not survive 24 hours of homelessness. Yeah, no, I think that would probably be a recipe for disaster. Somebody says, should I call my father and ask to go to NAMI tonight? I just have a feeling that we're just not going to get along. But should I call my father and ask to go to NAMI tonight? I really need to get out of the house, and I don't know. I mean, you'll get free pizza at NAMI, and that's dinner. Somebody says, yes, call your father and don't pick a fight. Splurge Lord says, no, leave him alone. Let's call my father. I think it's hostile dependency. I just don't like sitting in his car and. Somebody says, why are you picking a fight with a man that's bringing you to mental health recovery? You're the hostile one. I think I'm frustrated how I want to be independent. All right, let's call my father and ask if he still wants to go to NAMI. I mean, I got nothing better to do tonight. So he says, why does your father want to do anything with you anymore after how you treat him? Let's give him a call. He might be at the gym, man. He goes to the gym at this time. Yeah, it's ring, 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 ring. Yeah, he's not picking up. He didn't answer. So he says, "You want independence? Drive yourself." You know that would solve a lot of the problems if I was to drive myself. But the problem is I'm anxious and I don't know how to get there. See, that would solve a lot of the problems. So he says, Google Maps. Now, my father might be at the gym. He can't answer the phone at the gym. He goes to the gym around this time. I mean, for what it's worth. I mean, he goes to the gym between like 2 and 4, or So he might be at the gym and he just can't. You can't answer your phone at the gym. They have big signs at the gym that say, cell phone conversations to the lobby only. I'm not going to tell you what gym my father goes to, but that's probably where he is. Yeah, he goes to a nice gym. I'll give you that much. He goes to a nice gym. Oh, speaking of which, I got to get my car inspected. I got to do that soon. It's going to be. I hate doing that. I hate adult responsibilities. When do I have to get my car inspected by? My car needs to be inspected by. Yeah, I got to get my car inspected. But I think it's by the end of this month. Somebody says everyone hates adult responsibilities, but somebody says just make your mother or stepfather do it for you. So he says, you aren't special. Everyone hates to do these things. We just do it. So he says, that's why you don't want independence, because that means being an adult. You don't want to be an adult, Andrew. You want to play like a child. You want to play like you're a child. Got to get my car inspected. All right, I can do that soon. It might be Wednesday. I'll do that. I'll call over to the auto shop and ask them to do it. Splurge Lord says, you're literally incapable of caring about anyone other than you. How do you know that, Splurge Lord? So he says, do you have a sandbox in your backyard? So he says, it's because of your content. So he says, you didn't even want to make yourself burgers because it would be too much of a mess to clean up. So he says, you should use the George Foreman. Giant Bicklider says, I'm a self-obsessed person. Okay. Pizza Pasta says, actually true. I mean, people are just, projecting and saying things about me with, whatever. So he says, we're telling you the truth. Somebody says, if you want to be a millionaire, be a millionaire. Go get some woman. Go get a woman. Somebody says, it's not projection. We see your actions and how you treat others. Somebody says, Andrew, take your Lamictal and it will all make sense. Taylor says, if you took the proper medication, maybe you would understand. Somebody says, Andrew, have you got a part-time job? No, Gordy, I do not have a part-time job. It says, okie dokie. So he says, if you could work part-time, where would you want to work? I think it would be a good idea to work in a mental health community. I think that would give me some reward and satisfaction. I think working at a supermarket or, at a coffee shop would bore me, frankly. I would be professional. Patrick said I would be professional if I got a job in the mental health community, and I would try to be empathetic and listen to the issues they were going through, and you know, I would not be unprofessional. So he says, "Do you have an idea of where you want to work? What's stopping you from doing it?" Um, I feel like a lot of you people, don't. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you see how. So he says, "Yeah, I'm trying to get a therapist. I'm trying to get a psychologist. Um, because I think it would be better to talk to a psychologist about these issues rather than random people on the internet. You know, but obviously, even that, you got to put work into getting a psychologist or a social worker. I did try. I actually called some program today. They didn't call me back yet. I'm trying to get a new psychiatrist, and I'm trying to get a social worker or a psychologist, and I'm trying to get involved in some groups on Mondays and Wednesdays. So I did put some effort in. Uh, Unfortunately, they need a number of things like my old physical, which I gave them. They need my old doctor to give a psychosocial assessment, which I gave them. They needed my insurance information, which I gave them. I don't know what else they need. I don't know what the holdup is, but they need some more information before they can accept me into the place. But I provided them with, you know, pretty much everything. I don't know what the holdup is, but we keep playing phone tag. People keep calling me. I keep missing the call. I keep calling them. They keep missing my call. So I'm trying. I'm trying. I try. I literally tried today before this live stream. Yeah, I usually put my phone on silent. Unfortunately, usually when I sleep, but then when I wake up in the morning, I forget to turn it off silent. So he says your phone never rings, Andrew. Yeah, the reason is because I usually have it on silent mode. Because sometimes I'll get text messages in the middle of the night that will wake me up, and I'm like, then I can't fall back to sleep. So I like to put, somebody says, "What if Hollywood calls in the middle of the night?" Well, I like to, they can try to call me again in the morning. I don't know. I mean, sometimes I get spam emails. The email set off the notification. A number of things, set off the notifications, like the emails, the texts. So he says, "No wonder you aren't getting calls. You need to take it off. Well, I get the calls, and I try calling them back, and then, yeah. So yeah, I got to try to take my phone off silent." Patrick says, "You can answer my question. The original question: If the new doctors told you needed the meds, including the Lamictal, would you take it then?" Well, the new doctor is a fresh perspective, so I'll discuss it with the new doctor. But I don't even have the new doctor yet. I'm trying to get it. Um, I'm trying to get involved in the program. Somebody says, short answer is no, Patrick. Somebody says, nope, that's for sure a no. Patrick says, yeah, I knew that was the answer. Somebody says, are you familiar with a self-fulfilling prophecy? Yes. What prophecy am I fulfilling? That I'm waiting for Godot and I'm going to wait my whole life and nobody's going to ever come and rescue me? What prophecy am I self-fulfilling? Somebody says, some people proclaim I want to be famous and they fulfill that and they become famous. What you're saying, where is my knight in shining armor? Where is my magical ones? Why isn't somebody rescuing me? And nobody's coming to rescue you. You're just pouring your life down the drain. You're hostily dependent with your parents, and you're fulfilling the prophecy of waiting for Godot. Basically, your parents are going to pass away, and you're going to be in an institution somewhere, like a hospital or a group home, or that's the self-fulfilled prophecy. Unless you take charge of your life, unless you take action, unless you make your life happen, somebody says, "Will you even be sad when they?" I will be sad when they pass. Absolutely. I think right now, it's just been so many years of being dependent on them that we're just all at our wits' end. I think if I got some space from them and got independent from them, I would grow to appreciate them more. I think really the problem is I'm just so frustrated with the hostile dependency, and they are too. They are too, quite frankly. And I think it's not natural for a 37-year-old man to be a child getting taken care of by their parents. That's just not a natural dynamic. I'm like a 37-year-old child that they're taking care of. And, that causes resentment from the caretaker and from the person who wants to be independent. And there's a solution to that. Drive yourself to NAMI, you get independent, Somebody says, the reason you're dependent is because you're mentally ill and you refuse to get better. Take the steps towards independence. And some people say, somebody says, well, I did take a step today calling the program, and I'm trying to get involved in groups. I'm trying to get involved with a new psychiatrist. I'm trying to get involved with a social worker to talk to. So that's not entirely true. Yes, I should have taken these steps months ago, but I'm taking action. Somebody says, take your medication, Andrew. Somebody says, talk is cheap. Action is what you need to do. Somebody says, make your parents proud, take your medication, go to these programs, and make your life happen. Somebody says, good for you, Andrew. I was worried you were going to fall out into a pit you'd never climb out of. I know I could get a job. Where do you recommend I should look? Try not to compare myself to these, rich and privileged people. Try to, get a job at a supermarket or a coffee shop or anywhere, really. Maybe even a library, So I'm sure the pros programs will call me back. Maybe not today. Let's see if my phone's on silent now. Let's take my phone off silent. I know it's on ring. So they haven't called me yet. I took it all. I put it on ring today. They haven't called me yet. Maybe they'll call me at 4 p.m. At the end of the shift. I don't know. I don't know when they'll call, but I'm waiting on the call. And this is the pros program, by the way. This is I'm getting involved in it. I'm going to be going to groups. I'm going to be getting a psychiatrist there. I'm going to be getting a social worker there, and I'm going to be doing that. So this is exactly what that is. I don't know if it's exactly the pros program. Maybe it's the SOAR program or some derivative of that, but it's groups. Rusty says, no, you won't. Well, at the very least, I'll talk to the social worker and the psychiatrist, and probably get involved in groups too. So I'll call them back. I just left a message right before this live stream, like an hour ago, um, and I'm waiting for them to return my call. I don't want to spam their inbox. Somebody says, group of what? Low functioners? You're not going to you're not going to, yeah, I mean, I know a lot of the people at the group are probably going to be low functioning. I mean, I could get a job at a supermarket or, at a library or anywhere really. So it says telling people what they want to hear can disregard their feedback and keep being a coddled man child. Yes. I guess I'm a coddled man child. Major Vindia asks, have I improved at all? Well, the problem is I just sit in solitude posting on social media. I think I have made improvement. Rusty says I haven't. Taylor says I haven't. I think I have, but some people say I haven't. Somebody says, actual advice, your best bet is part-time work at some low-wage job while receiving disability. And honestly, no shame in it. You can do what you can. Somebody says, you've improved as much as your art's improved. Somebody says, being a celebrity is about as unrealistic as Splurgler becoming a dictator. Somebody says, bro, you are stone cold crazy. All right. Somebody says, don't let people crush on your dreams. No, I'm certainly not going to give up. I'm going to certainly I'm certainly not going to give up on my dreams of being a famous artist and performer. I certainly want that. But, obviously, it's good to have a backup plan, And if my dream of superstardom and performance doesn't work out, well, have a job at a supermarket so when my parents go away, I am not homeless and up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. Don't give up on what hasn't worked out so far, but also be realistic and have a backup plan. So he says, try calling your father again about NAMI. Maybe he wrapped up at the gym. Well, let's give him a call. I called him 21 minutes ago. Let's try giving my father a call. Ring-a-ling-ling-ling, ring-a-ling-ling-ling. Ring-a-ling-ling-ling, ring-a-ling-ling-ling. Here we go! Yeah, he didn't answer. He's probably at the gym. Somebody says, what would you do if Hollywood? Where's the comment? I lost it. What would you do if Hollywood guy walked in right now and said, "Give me your best material"? I would start off with my screenplay from 2019, 2020. and I would share with him the screenplay. That would be my first step. Um, Somebody says like if some famous Asian Hollywood guy said perform a scene from a movie, could you do I would start off with my screenplay, and from there I would start. It's in text format. I could perform it a little bit. Somebody says Andrew would start performing The Room with Tommy Wiseau. I would basically poorly act. Somebody says your screenplay is just about your parents. Well, I mean, the screenplay is very much what my life was like in 2019, 2020. That was basically my life. So it's very much kind of like an biographical, but semi-exaggerated at times and sensationalistic, but like with the Swell Boys especially. But so he says, all you do is talk about yourself. Yeah, no, obviously I'm the main character. I mean, it's obviously, I mean, somebody says, do you think you're the main character of life? I don't know. I never really thought about that, but I'm definitely the main character of my screenplay. Somebody says, you have the main character syndrome. Somebody says, yes, he has the main character syndrome. I mean, I do have, I mean, there is, somebody says, if somebody says, your art is like a thing they find after a tragic event. And they go back and they read it and they're like, oh, this is the crazy guy. Somebody says, Andrew doesn't write plays, he writes manifestos. Somebody says, your art might be, thank you, Carl. Carl says, your art might be worth millions one day, like Picasso. Thankfully, we have somebody who's being nice to me right now. Thank you, Carl. I appreciate your kind words. I hope you're right. I'm going to continue trying. I mean, maybe Picasso is, but I appreciate the encouragement. Somebody says Andrew's more of a Van Gogh. Thank you. I appreciate the kind words. I appreciate you comparing me to Vincent Van Gogh. Somebody says if you got a job, the whole chat would lose it, bro. I mean, like what are you just going to criticize me? I mean, it's good to hope to be like Van Gogh. Somebody says, don't besmirch Van Gogh. He's unironically my favorite artist. Okay, I mean, I'm not saying I paint as well as Van Gogh, but I want to be a successful artist like Van Gogh. I mean, why is it bad to like, okay, well, tell me I could be like Van Gogh. I mean, You know. So he says, take the Lamictal for 6 months, and maybe things will get better. Pizza Pasta says he's like Mr. Bean. Thank you. I mean, thank you. No, I mean Mr. Bean. Mr. Bean's funny. Mr. Bean's funny. I mean, eccentric, quirky. The laundry song we got going in the background. Somebody's Giant Big Lighter says you want people to be nice, but you aggressively ask for negative attention. That's a fair point. Maybe try to make the right decisions, and you know. And he likes to make self-degrading videos, they say. Mm-mm. So stop doing that. And make the, Somebody says, you kind of invite people to make fun of you. Somebody says, it's not, you literally made videos about yourself being a slave. Yeah, I mean, make better decisions, make better decisions. Don't, All right, let's give my father one last call here. Maybe it would be good to go to NAMI. Should I call my father? Let's call my father. One last time. Yeah. She didn't answer. Yeah, I guess I'm not going to NAMI tonight. So, Poppy, we all do Poppy. I didn't actually say any. I was. It was just kind of. I said to him I wasn't feeling well, and so he says, "Poppy is done with your BS. Poppy is done with your BS." So he says, "Your father's a sick old man. Leave him alone." All right, guys. I think Carl says. So he says, Poppy will. To be honest, I mean, you see, I mean, a lot of the reason I'm angry at my parents would be better suited for therapy. I don't hate my parents. I don't hate my parents. I really don't. In fact, I would say I love them, but I have a lot of um, unresolved anger towards them that I really want to, um, you know, I really want to express. And I think I think a therapist would be a good person to talk this out with. Not so much. I don't really. That's actually somebody says you hate Poppy. That's not true. That's really not true. In fact, you know, I would say I love him, and I would be bummed if he's gone. But I'm also very angry at him. I'm also very angry at him, and I think he's lying to me. And I love my mother too. I really do. And I'm just also very angry at her, and I think she's lying to me and deceiving me. And you know, I'm frustrated by the dependency. So I don't hate my parents. I really don't. You know, but you know, there's a lot of things that need to be communicated and talked out and said. You know, that's just not getting said. You know, and I think therapy would be a good place to discuss this. You know, but unfortunately, I'm not seeing a therapist right now. So just try to get a therapist. Um, Try to get a therapist as soon as possible because it's better to communicate this in therapy than you know to random people on the internet. But that's what this is. Somebody says, and you know, I know, I know they say when it comes to so he says, "You're mad over delusions." No, I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot in my childhood. I have resentment towards my father about, especially there's a lot that I am angry about when it comes to my mother. I mean, and these are real things, not just imagined, suspected things. Um, but like you know, my psychopharmacologist said, he said, try to forgive them. Um, you know, for the real things, for the real issues, and you know, maybe they can forgive me, and maybe we can have a more warm and loving relationship where we, you know, you know, appreciate each other because lately, you know, and take accountability because the reason my parents are cold and distant from me is because of my behavior. It's because of how sick I've been, and try to take accountability for, you know, my role in the relationship being. Um, and you know, obviously, I'm quick to point my finger and attempt to blame others, but don't. Just take full accountability and you know realize my role in this. Don't point my finger and blame anybody besides myself. So he says also you need to take your medications. You know because a lot of the sickness is from delusions. You know Somebody says, yeah, try to not feel like the victim, and try to see it from their perspective. Look at them. They're taking care of a 37-year-old disabled adult child, who accuses them of being sexual sadists and deceivers. And you house this person, you feed this person, you provide them with the internet, and all he does is make crazy videos all day long. I mean, you would resent this person too. I mean, I am a burden. I'm literally a burden who does nothing financially for the household. I mean, I mean, they don't view my dependency as, you know, I mean, they don't view me as a burden. They view just the dependency as burdensome. But I am a burden, and that will definitely cause some animosity. I mean, they don't view me, the person, as a burden, but obviously the dependency is burdensome. I mean, it would burden anybody. And anybody still there? Who says I'm here? So take your medication. Take your medication. Andrew. Well, obviously, in the United States of America, I mean, in the United States of America, in order to have a comfortable life, you need money. You know, Somebody said, but I'm not. I'm more about you know, love, and having a good relationship. Than I mean, money makes you live comfortably. Money makes life easier for sure. But you know, somebody says, obviously try to make some money so you can make your parents' life easier. Somebody says life isn't about being comfortable. You gotta be uncomfortable. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna get going here. One sec. Should I try my father or leave him alone? Somebody said Brian says you've been off your meds for years and it hasn't gotten better. Maybe it's time to try something else. Okay, I'll leave my father alone. Now Dave says, leave the old folks alone. Leave the old folks alone. Leave the old folks alone. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna hit the dusty trail, I think. Anybody have any last questions or not really? So it says later. Peace out, guys.